Today, I'm here to review 3 books in one video. Hello everyone, today I'm here to do a Mashup review. Again, sorry for the change of scenery. You'll see this scene sporadically throughout the month. Some videos are going to be pre-filmed in front of my bookshelf, some are going to be not. So yeah, my bookshelves are packed away. That is why it's like this right now. In case you don't know, I'm moving. You get the gist. Just, this is temporary. It's just how it is right now. I'd rather film in front of this than a completely bare bookshelf because that would be no fun. So today I'm doing a Mashup review. If you're unfamiliar with Mashup reviews, it's where I take my 3 most recent reads and review them all for you in one video. I keep them spoiler free. I tell what they are about, what I thought about them, and what my rating is. This Mashup review is adult chick lit romance books. So in case you're into that genre and you're interested in these 3 books, I would highly check out my thoughts on them. As always, I will leave timestamps down below if you want to hear about one particular book in general. The books I'll be talking about today are The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, Meet Cute by Helena Hunting, and The Bride Test by Helen Huang. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first book I'll be talking about today is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. They are an author duo, Christina and Lauren, hence Christina Lauren. They write a lot of adult chick lit, and I've read a lot of their books, and I enjoy a lot of their books. They're just really good romance, steamy books that I can't seem to get enough of. One basically is about a character named Olive who has a twin sister, and her twin sister is getting married, and of course Olive is the maid of honor. She also is paired a lot with the best man who is the brother of the groom, and they really kind of have a hate relationship. So basically what happens is at the reception, everyone gets sick from food poisoning because they eat. And Olive and the best man, Ethan, are the only ones that don't eat, and hence they don't get sick. So Olive's sister cannot go on her own honeymoon because she has food poisoning. So she decides, hey, Olive, go on my honeymoon because you look just like me. You can get away with it. Take Ethan. That way our honeymoon's not going to go to waste. So they do just that. Go to Maui, and they have to pretend they're in love because they're honeymooners. They're finding it really easy to pretend they're in love even though they hate each other. I loved this book. Now with Christina Lauren books, there's some I like, there's some that I love. I've never given their book, I think, lower than a 3, but I've given a couple of their books 5 stars, and this one I have to say is a 5-star for me. I loved it start to finish. I would say if you're looking for a really good vacation, summery beach romance, this is great for you. And it's also a great hate to love romance because Olive and Ethan can't stand each other. They loathe each other, and throughout this vacation they realize, hey, we don't love each other. We kind of have really big feelings for each other. I loved it. It was a great hate to love book, and that's one of my favorite tropes of all time with romance. I would say it's probably my favorite trope is the hate to love because it's just so intense with their hatred, and then all of a sudden it's intense with their love. It's just a complete 180, and I just couldn't get enough of it. I thought the romance was very steamy. There is steamy times in this. I thought it was just amazing. There was also a good family dynamic as well because she's really close to her sister and her whole family, and there's also a big conflict in the middle of it. And I feel like the conflict was warranted. I feel like I say this a lot with a lot of romance books, is romance books can follow a certain formula where a couple gets together, everything's fine, and then a big conflict comes up and they get over it by the end of the book. Sometimes that conflict is warranted, sometimes it is not. This conflict, I feel like, was warranted. So as following the standard protocol for romance books, I think this one did great. I give it a 5 out of 5. I love the Maui vibes. I love the vacation vibes. It made me want to go on vacation like right now, but I really enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite Christina Lauren books. I don't know if I love this one more than Josh and Hazel, because Josh and Hazel was like a friends to lovers. This is a hate to lovers. It's just, they both have their own thing. If you like really quirky, cutesy romance, Josh and Hazel's the way to go. If you want some steamy hate to love romance, this one's much better for you. So I really enjoyed it, would highly recommend it because it's just a great beach read, honestly. If you travel, go to the beach, the lake, wherever, this is a perfect summer read. Like literally June, July, August, this is a great book to read. Moving on to Meet Cute by Helena Hunting. This is another adult contemporary chick lit romance book. This is about a main character named Kaylin who is a lawyer, and it starts off in the book with her meeting like her biggest crush ever. She's like fangirling because she meets a actor named Dax. He's one of the main actors in her favorite show in middle and like high school. Like she loved it. It was like, I would say it was kind of like Saved by the Bell, Family Ties type of vibe, Growing Pains maybe, that's just me. Anyway, she meets them, they have like an epic meet cute, and then they go to law school together and they kind of become friends, and then a huge betrayal happens. This is all that kind of set in the past. You don't really know the details of it, you don't go into it, but years later, Kaylin is a lawyer, and then she sees Dax again because he needs her help because she is in custody law, I believe. I forget, I'm not good with lawyerese terms because that just I don't understand it at all. And basically he gets custody of his 13-year-old sister because his parents have died, so she has to help out with that. There's a huge custody battle, and of course, you know, there was a big betrayal, so they both have kind of animosity toward each other, and you know, it grows from there. Overall, I gave this book a 3 out of 5. I read her other book, Good Luck Charmed, last month and also gave it a 3 out of 5. I feel like she's a solid middle of the road contemporary author for me. That's not to say I don't enjoy her books. I do enjoy her books. They're just not, they don't wow me as much as Christina Lauren books or Helen Hoang books do. They just are kind of my standard chick lit books. It does have steamy times in it. I did really like that. It does have good relationship in it. It does have the good hate to love trope, I guess, because Kaylin really has a lot of animosity towards Dax because this minuscule thing that happened in college years ago. That's one thing I didn't love about it, is Kaylin was holding on to this resentment for years, and he didn't even know what he did, and it wasn't even that big of a deal in my opinion. So I was like, you need to let it go. You're holding on to a grudge that does not even need to be a grudge. So I did not like that at all. I felt like that conflict was just, why was it in there? I don't get it. I guess it made sense for like the whole hate to love trope for her to be like, oh, I realized this is not that big of a deal. Like, you should have realized that a long time ago, but that's just me personally. But I do like that it talked a lot about custody and being thrust into being a parent when you're not quite ready, because Dax is a 30-something-year-old and he doesn't know what to do with a 13-year-old sister, and his parents died, so it deals a lot with grief. Was dealing a lot with a 13-year-old that's dealing with grief as well as a custody battle with this whole big fight with his Aunt Linda for getting custody. That whole thing was just a fiasco, but overall, I give it a 3 out of 5. It's not, I did not hate it by any means, nor did I love it. I would say it's a good middle-of-the-road chick lit book. Also, I should also mention, I buddy read this with Amy from Recorder Crimes and Quills and Jed from Pinot and Pages, and again, I read them both with this one, and as well as Nicole from Simply Nicole Marie. I'll link all of them down below, but either way, this one's just a standard 3-star read. I just wanted more from it, but I'm not mad that I read it all. It was a cute book, and I enjoyed it for what it was. Moving on to the last book I want to talk about is The Bride Test by Helen Hoang. This is the sequel / companion novel to The Kiss Quotient, which got released last year. You don't necessarily need to read The Kiss Quotient, but there are characters from The Kiss Quotient in this book, so it's kind of like a companion series where it's not required to read the first book, but it's probably a good idea to do so. In this book, we follow 2 characters. We follow Kai, who was on the autism spectrum, and he really is, he's happy with his life. He does the same things every day. He's very set in his routines, and he's just, you know, he doesn't think about love life and things like that. That is until his mom decides to bring home a girl named Esme home from Vietnam to be his bride. She had talked to Esme. She's like, giving you a free trip to America for 3 months. Maybe you can marry my son and your whole family can come over. So she decides it's an opportunity that she really needs to take upon herself because she's not having the best life in Vietnam. So she does just that. She moves in with Kai, and it becomes sort of a just roommate situation, maybe something more. Overall, I did not love this one as much as The Kiss Quotient. I think there's a lot of reasons for that. Number one, the romance. I wasn't as sold on it as The Kiss Quotient. The Kiss Quotient, I felt like the romance was just kind of effortless. It melded really well together. It flowed together really well. This one, I did not think it really flowed that well. It just was kind of forced. I feel like the whole plot in general was kind of forced. You already know that his mom is bringing over a bride, and you feel like that's not really okay to just do that on your son, like bring home a bride and here's your wife. There you go. I know that's how it used to be in certain cultures, and it still could be. I'm not familiar with that, so please do not take what I'm saying offensively at all, because I don't know the culture with that. But in America, it doesn't happen a ton, or at least to my knowledge, so I felt like that was kind of forced already. And then Esme was really trying to take it upon herself to get involved with this Kai guy, and I felt like she already went into this like already wanting a marriage, and she didn't even want to get to know him at first, but she did kind of. It's all kind of messed up. I felt like the relationship was just forced, because from page 1 you knew exactly what was going to happen with the whole you know, his mom bringing home a bride. And Kai also is on the autism spectrum, so he really struggled with his feelings with Esme for quite some time, with the feelings of love and things like that. And he told her several times that, you know, I think she was cutting his hair at one point, and he had to explain to her the pressure to cut his hair because he is autistic, and she was like, oh, I don't know what that is. But she didn't take any opportunity to go research it, which I felt like was not the best. I feel like autism was represented well in this, but I wanted Esme to look in more into it, to understand it more, to understand Kai more, instead of just him telling her and her just kind of brushing it off like, okay. That's another thing that kind of bugged me. Also, there's this big secret in this book. I don't know if it's even in the dust jacket. Not in the dust jacket, so I can't say what the secret is, but there's a secret with Esme that I feel like was not warranted. This whole secret, I feel like that was just kind of shady. I don't know if that's the good word to say. I don't know, is that lame to say anymore? But I don't feel like the secret was that great. And oh my gosh, it sounds like I'm bashing this book. I'm not. I love the way Helena Huang writes. I love her style. I love the way she represents autism, because you know that's a subject very near and dear to my heart. So overall, I give this book a 4 out of 5. I did not love it as much as The Kiss Quotient, but I still enjoyed the romance in it, even though I was griping on it. There were some great steamy times in it. I love the autism rep. I love the family vibes, you know. Yes, everything was kind of forced, but by the end, you felt it kind of flow naturally. But still, there are just some quirks I didn't love about it, so don't think that I'm bashing it at all. I still really enjoyed it, just not quite as much as The Kiss Quotient. I also buddy read this with Julie from Pages and Pens, and I think we both were on the same page of what we thought about it and what we rated it. So if you want to know that, there you go. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on these 3 books right here, all within the adult chick lit genre. I really enjoyed the Unhoneymooners. That's my favorite in this whole stack, but I would recommend them all, again, each for a different thing. So if you've read any of these, please let me know your thoughts and opinions. I would love to hear them, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.